And straight into the ban picks, we're going to go. FPX taking out a couple of junglers from Hacker, the Pantheon that he's 100% win rate on, also taking away the Olaf. While in the meantime, eStars, they're very, very familiar with Bo, taking away his Talia, which is his best champion on solo queue, and also making sure the Aphelios goes down, which seems like a Kai'Sa wide open.
Yeah, it's really strange. I would usually think the Kai'Sa here as well. The Gnar kind of makes me think maybe they want to go for something like a Renekton as well. Those are always one of our first pickable champions. Typically, if Pantheon and Olaf are banned, it does come down to a trade between, hey, who wants Kai'Sa and who can go with something like a Renekton plus AP jungle combo.
Oh, but we are going to see the Kai'Sa hovered, not locked in. It is going to be the Lilia going over to Hacker. This is not a champion that he's actually played so far, so it is going to be his debut. We're going to see how well he does on that.
And I'm really curious why, again, if you were just going to go with that Lilia, why you wouldn't want to just pick up something right away like the Renekton. And we were talking about how this is usually the trade you have in LPL. FPX are going to get both of these picks. I kind of expect Rat to just go for the Xayah. It's his most played. He has 5 games on it. We've seen it picked against the Kai'Sa many times. You're able to just kind of push back and forth in the laning phase. You have the self-peel for when she does all in you post 6. So would be a pretty standard pick for eStar.
I want you to tell me, Lyric, is this the worst trade in the history of trade deals?
I'm kind of leaning to yes. Not even just leaning. Again, we see it every game. This is the trade you have. And for FPX, you still have other AP jungle options open along the lines of a Nidalee if we did want to see Bo go towards that. Now I'm more curious to see where eStar go with this. There aren't too many champions that are left available that are too good into the likes of the Renekton. We have the Jace, which CS has played before. The Volibear is obviously the more, I'd say, traditional matchup from last year. We saw it a lot at Worlds, where Volibear does have a lot of trading power early on in the game, and they are going to go towards that.
Oh, good. The Volibear has been a counter to the Renekton, but we are also seen from RNG that they could potentially actually put the Renekton mid. Goembi has definitely played a lot of games with that champion as well. So I would say like FPX are still holding their cards relatively open here. The Nidalee pick, very strong jungler, as you were mentioning, being locked in here. We have seen a lot of people try different builds with their Dark Harvest actually popping up a little bit in Bo's solo queue, so we might be seeing that coming up on the cards.
Now I definitely feel like we are going to start indexing into what supports we have come out onto the map. For Crisp, I still expect something that just does bring hard engage, even if Xayah does work quite well against that. Maybe something along the lines of a Set could be quite good as well. We've seen it combo with the Kai'Sa quite a bit, and I think it's one of Chris' better champions. Also was his best champion in 2020.
Yeah, and interesting enough, both of these players actually playing a lot of Thresh. Both of Xiaoxi and Chris have Thresh as their most played. So with Thresh off the table, it seems like something like a Leona, like you were mentioning, might be higher in the priority.
Yeah, I definitely think for FPX that's a play for eStar. Maybe getting something that provides you more peel. I think that's why the Thresh ban is very good for the side of FPX, being able to stop the likes of Renekton and Kai'Sa getting onto the Xayah pick. So I'm looking towards something like an Alistar, or if FPX do go with the Leona, you could also bring in the Galio coming in for eStar, but something that definitely brings more safety tools for the Xayah and Lilia pick.
Okay, will be Nuggery's GP as the final ban, so no supports actually taken off the table like you were predicting, and we're going to see Chris on his debut on Rel. Not a champion we have expected so far. How does this fit into the picture?
I mean, it still goes along with the theme of FPX's comp, right? You have 3 champions who want to jump in, Rel, Kai'Sa, and Renekton. So I'm not quite sure why you wouldn't want to index into another area. The Leona, I understand, right? You have the Featherstorm to dodge that out coming out from the Xayah, but I definitely think Set fit here quite well. The fact that he offers both engage and disengage for the side of FPX and can like buy a lot of room for the Nidalee as well.
And we are going to see eStars responding with a Zoe pick right here. The final one has to be their top laner or support at this point. Looks like it will be a support Gragas being locked in here. So a lot of AP damage on this combination. And for FPX, they are thinking about their final pick. This is either going to be one of their solo lanes, could be top lane, could be mid lane. We have seen some Karmas actually pop up in the top side for the LPL. And, you know, Toynbee, it always takes a while for him to finally lock in his options just because he has so many damn champions that he can play. It will be the Jace at the very end, and I do think that this Jace is probably going to be going towards the top side, I would assume.
Yep, I definitely feel like we're going to have Jace in the top lane. He's going to be able to bully out that Volibear quite hard in lane. And I think Renekton sounds a lot more of a Dwinby-esque champion than the likes of the Jace. So we're going to have that strong mid-jungle setup coming out from the side of FPX. You can set up ganks onto Zoe very easily. You can get that priority and go try and invade the Lilia's jungle. Jace is going to be fine, self-sufficient in that lane. He can knock back the Volibear if he ever does all in. And LWX and Chris probably going to be left on an island.
Okay, so it looks like FPX are going to try fight fire with fire, not playing defensive with Nuguri, not focusing on the bottom lane, but instead going with this super aggressive Jace pick into the top side and taking it to eStar's 3-man squad. You know, eStar's, we have mentioned, has been a team that really likes to play split map. They love to set up ZS for a good laning phase, get him on tower dives, have a place for Xiaoxi to roam towards, and now they're going to have to fight against Nuguri and an old teammate in Bo.
The thing I'm most interested in seeing this game is what do eStar decide to do once we get on the Rift, because I kind of expect them to lose both mid-jungle 2v2 and top 2v2, so FPX probably a free reign of the top side of the map. Do eStar just give that up and look to trade for the bottom side, or do they feel the need to fight back? Because Lily is this type of jungler who typically you want to be the one invading the enemy jungle. You want to be stealing away the Raptors and getting ahead, your own jungle advantage. It's going to be quite hard for Hacker to do that this time around.
A lot of tough options for eStars to consider here, as you mentioned. Topside probably looking not as favorable given these counter picks and the flex out from FPX. Just taking a look at the runes right here. We actually don't have that time. We're gonna go straight into game, and it is written in the sky that the LPL is for the fearless. Always looking for fights, always looking for action. We're gonna have a fast and explosive series here. As taking a look at the level 1s, we already have wards being popped out into the bottom lane. Neither side really wants to face check that into a fast level 1. And it is going to be spread map point for the rest of the members.
Have been, I'd say, pretty standard starts that we can expect. Hacker potentially will just path towards this top side early on, because in the mid lane, Irma can at least get push on the first wave and get those first 3 waves into turrets. So it gives Hacker a bit of a window where he can farm safely in his top side jungle before having to come back down, around that 4 to 5 minute mark.
All right, so likely both of these, likely Hacker heading for the top side. We're gonna see how this Rel does in lane. We do have the Hail of Blades on LWX, so we have seen some very, very aggressive level 1 plays. Doesn't look like that's gonna be possible with Rel coming in here. And I just want to ask your opinion on this champion. It's not something we've seen a lot in the LPL, a little bit more popular over in the LCK, in fact.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. My impression of this champion watching and even talking to some of the LPL pros is it just kind of seems like a much lower damage.
But we're going to see the Ignite actually be popped by Chris and the level 1 kill found by LWX. It looked like Chris was unmounted, but suddenly getting the mount up, getting the stun there, able to find the kill for LWX.
Yeah, and you can see Xiaoxi just didn't expect that damage to come through. And I was just going to say, a lot of the interpretation from pros is that Rel just seems like a lower base damage version of Leona. And that's why you don't see a lot of LPL players picking it up. They just see, hey, why would I pick Rel in this scenario when I can just pick Leona? But hey, Chris definitely having the base damage in that scenario. We know Gragas isn't that tanky, especially when you are only level 1. And it was Xiaoxi just going a bit too far forward. I don't know if he expected something like a level 2 coming out, but it was only the first wave.
Chris roaming again. He's going to be able to find Irma with a double stun right here. Ruthless Predator comes down, and they also find another one from Chris, but still, Irma able to escape with his flash. So, you know, we've been talking about this Rel pick, but it really seems like the surprise factor is doing it for him.
Yeah, the thing I really loved about that play is he didn't go for any kind of early reset. He used the window that they got from winning that trade to just go straight mid. The wave was still in a neutral space from pushing back from Dwinby's turret, and they get the flash. Actually, both summoners out from the side of Irma. So very strong early lead from FPX.
And we definitely saw in that early level 1 trade, well, Irma is not going to have any time to rest on his laurels as Bo comes in. Looks like he's just about to reset the wave, but, you know, they did have a kill opportunity there. Doesn't really find the spear, and that's going to be that.
And at the same time, we did see Hacker helping the eStar bot lane get their wave in. Sadly, Bo did just take the bot side scuttle, so not going to really be able to use that bot lane pressure for anything, but it will get Rat a bit of a recall timing. And Bo going to be happy just to take double scuttle. And I mean, this is what happens when we said, hey, FPX can win the mid-jungle 2v2. They're going to win topside. If LWX and Crisp are getting their own advantages, then Bo has 3 lanes that he can use the pressure from to find his own advantage.
And it's been a very old dictum in League of Legends, but if you win all 3 lanes at the same time, you pretty much win the game. There's not much that the enemy team can actually do to combat that. You were saying it perfectly there. Double scuttle already going over to FPX. They have full control over this river, and this is going to be the 3rd potential gank that Irma has seen in 4 minutes of game time. He's gonna find the comeback kill, however. Really surprisingly, didn't look like Bo and Doinby were synced up. Both sitting very, very far behind the minion wave, and I'm really surprised at that one. It just didn't look like the new jungler and our past MVP had any synergy there.
Yeah, I don't think it's completely Bo's fault because Doinby actually got bubbled. I'm not sure if Doinby was playing more aggressive, expecting Bo to be able to come in earlier. That opened it up to the bubble. Bo thinks, okay, Doinby is CC locked. I can't go in yet. But then Doinby was half HP. Irma actually had a ignite from his W. And then after Doinby had to flash in, we see the ignite come down from Irma. He then picks up the flash, and it's very easy for him to follow up on the Doinby kill. So I think a bit of miscoordination, a bit of a mistake coming out from Doinby. I think had he been more patient, let Bo get closer, then you all in, it actually doesn't matter if you get slept, because then Irma can't get that full combo off onto Doinby.
Definitely should not have given over a kill in a 2v1 situation, but Irma, props to him, he does outplay right there, and that should stem the bleeding for eStar's just a couple of seconds here, as we see them right now heading in towards the jungle, and maybe looking at a potential Drake.
And Hacker going exactly with what we talked about before the game. He realizes, hey, I can't really contest on the top side of the map. I'm going to keep playing through my bot lane. Sure, they did give over a kill, but they're still going to have the wave pressure, especially from the Gragas pick, being able to harass with those barrels. And they've just been able to get deep vision and still on the path, letting Hacker farm up. Not really too many gank opportunities presented to him with these lane matchups, though.
So we have talked a lot about the laning phases and who should come out ahead on which side of the map. I do want to ask your opinion on the comps in general. What do you think is the main goal of maybe this eStar composition? But, you know, it does seem like we have a potential skirmish in hand. Crisp is looking to go in. He is going to just flash in and come in with the crash down. Hacker is still alive. He actually goes forward with that one, loses his life, but eStars does find a comeback kill onto the support. Doinby is chasing Irma as Irma goes across the wall just to find his double kill. Very well done by him, able to dodge out, but is he able to get away is going to be the big question. He actually does find himself in the back line and is able to sneak off with the double kill in hand. What a 200 IQ play coming in from Irma. Actually jukes out the entire FPX team to find those kills, and he's now sitting at 3-0-1.
Great skirmish coming out from the side of eStar. This is why we highlighted Irma early on. He bought so much time wrapping all the way around, giving time for Shalcy to find that really nice body slam, opening up Rat to come in and deal more damage. We will get a replay here. eStar, they go for the bot side crab. They got bot side prio. Crisp actually being the one to engage. Really nice 3-man knockup coming out. Hacker then flashes in and gets instantly burst out, but Crisp also on the wrong side of the fight. Irma, this is where Zoe thrives, picks up the flash, able to get over the wall. And here, because FPX are split, he has the ability to just run through the Kai'Sa on the opposing side, and it just gave room for Rat and Shalcy to come in and save the day.
Yeah, that was a huge turnaround of things, and we're going to come right back out from the replay. We're not going to let that one finish just yet. It seemed like we had a little bit of action coming out of the bottom lane, just taking stock of things. Yep, we did see a little bit of a push here, but nothing much to come out of it. Meanwhile, on the top side, the Herald is going to be contested over by the 2v2 with FPX, Nuguri, and Bo seeming to get the upper hand in this one as they have fully pushed ZS into the tower. And it just seems like it's going to be a free objective for FPX in this one.
Yeah, and I actually feel like FPX have had a really good idea of how they should be playing out the map and like where they need to put their focus. We saw the early attention mid coming out from Bo. We saw him playing around the top side, looking for camps in the enemy jungle, now going for this Herald. It's just been a lot of execution mistakes coming out from the side of FPX, and he started really benefiting off that. And it goes back to what you asked me before about, hey, what's the win conditions of these comps? I feel like eStar, it's very much kind of that front-to-back team fight, the stock and standard. You have double frontline coming out. You have a very safe bot lane. You can kite back quite well with the Xayah, Zoe, and Lilia. But I'm going to pause, Clement, because we might get some action here.
And it is Irma that's going to be able to rotate here just a little bit faster. Also worthy to point out, he does have a redemption on him, so very strong in these skirmish situations. However, they're not actually going to go for this. So Bo, interestingly enough, even with the numbers disadvantage, is able to secure both his own blue buff and his Gromp right here. Of course, Doinby doesn't really need that blue buff, so he's pretty willing for his jungler to pick that one up. And, you know, I felt like eStars definitely could have tried and pushed their advantage with this one. They didn't really go for it.
Yeah, instead just wanting to back off. And I can understand it looks like Rat did have a nice space timing in terms of items. Coming back to lane almost at that mythic already. But this is one of the reasons why Zoe's so strong in these early skirmishes, right? The ability to pick up the summoners with the W, how much impact you're able to have. Actually, both times, it felt like his W is what won him out in kills in both instances. In mid lane, it was the Ignite into Flash combo. In that replay we saw around bot, it was also being able to pick up the Flash. So, seeing a lot of the strength of the LPL Zoe.
Yeah, definitely, if you have RNG Jesus on your side, that pick becomes a bit more stronger. We are going to see a rather quiet laning phase here, and FPX actually coming out ahead on the gold lead despite the kills going over to eStars, and it mainly has been because of this top lane. We do see Nuguri already with his mythic complete. It is going to be the Eclipse. And he also finished his call, so sitting at a very, very comfortable 20 CS lead, plus that 350 coming in from the call being completed.
FPX being ahead, just a byproduct of their composition as well. They drafted really strong early laners in most of their lanes. A very skirmish-heavy jungler as well. For FPX, it's going to be all about the transition in mid-game for me. They do kind of function as a pseudo poke comp. Obviously, they do have the Nidalee and Jace. Kai'Sa can work in there as well with her W. And then you do have the option to re-engage a fight with the likes of the Rel. So it's going to be a lot about how FPX play off the contests over mid-wave. You're going to send the 5 people mid. If you can hit a spear or an accelerated shock blast, you then get river control and can be the first one on the objective.
We do see FPX are the ones that are going to be poking into the enemy jungle. eStars are a little bit slow on this one, but Xiaoxi does spot out Crisp. There is a 3-man on FPX on the enemy Raptors, but Crisp is going to get ulted down. He's going to be the first one in. He does get multiple stuns down. The first one to fall will be Crisp, but they do find one back. Doinby is in very far behind enemy lines, but LWX flies in with the killer instinct just to even up the odds, and FPX actually walk away with the kill lead right here. They're going to find 2. LWX still looking for more, and a perfect snipe incoming from Bo. Very, very well timed as he tags, I believe, Xiaoxi right out of the perfect timing right there. So well done there. FPX actually get a 3-for-1 and equal up the kills.
And now they're going to be able to turn this into a Herald on bot side, get some of that plate gold onto their carry. But hey, Rat doesn't just want to let this one go.
Yeah, he's still going to have the, he's still looking to take the Herald down. So no turret platings on the side of FPX. FPX still find a massive win right there, and I do want to correct myself. It was Hacker that was actually sniped down. He is now going into the top side. We do see a flash in from ZS, and they want to take down Nuguri, but Nuguri is flashing out of the situation. He's finally going to get tagged down by the sleep, and despite all of his attempts, he is going to fall down. So this looks like a potential Drake trade for a couple of turret plates on the top side.
That was still so well played coming out from Nuguri. Of course, He did get tagged by Lilia. The ultimate is always going to be able to come out, which is going to secure that. I really liked his flash at the end. Had he not been CC'd, felt like he could have gotten 1-for-1, but we're going to go straight into the replay. Things look so well for eStar in this position with how far off Crisp is from the rest of his team. You're going to have the displacement come out from the barrel right now. You have more members here. It is a 4v3 at this time. Irma not able to hit that Sleepy Trouble bubble, though, and it does end up being a 1-for-1 off the start, thanks to just the strength of Renekton in this early game. LWX jumping in is so clean. Irma about to get away. LWX then flashing over, and then keep your eye on Bo. Just really nice spear to kind of cap off this fight.
Yeah, I'm sorry, folks. I must be blind, but it was Irma that was sniped out right there. Kind of hard to tell when everyone is in Zhonya's. He's going to be the one to go down, and that was a huge amount of shutdown gold actually going over towards Bo. He's now the one with the bounty over his head, and as we were talking about this FPX composition, you kind of outlined it very well. They have a lot of priority. A lot of these early skirmishes should go over to their side just because of the strength of their champions. And the question really is, can, eStars actually find themselves back into this situation with their more traditional front-to-back composition? They're going to be the ones setting up a little bit late on this Drake, but they do have the poke potential here as Doinby body blocks and Bo is able to find the last hit onto that Infernal.
The big problem at this point, right, is that we have Mythics coming out for Doinby and Bo, but no Mythic on the side of Irma or Hacker. It is standard for Lilia. She does typically go Zhonya's first in a lot of
Doinby
these
actually
setups.
going in right there. Forces Irma to use a flash. Might have been from the Unsealed Spellbook right here. And again, they're going to find another huge advantage over the map, able to take away 2 objectives almost completely uncontested.
FPX is doing a good job at playing the whole map. Nuguri doing a great job at using his pressure. FPX get control of mid. Now they're looking for the dive on bot lane.
Oh, it's going to be a 4v2, and it doesn't seem like there's much that eStars can do. The teleport is going to be coming in from the Volley Bear, but even with that, he's not going to be able to equal up the numbers. Lilia and Zoe are still coming out of base. And FPX pretty much just find a free kill while Nuguri in the mid lane gets down the tower. This is just... I can't believe how one-sided these map trades have been, but can Nuguri escape? That's going to be the question. Oh my god, the Everfrost actually found by Irma. What a... I don't know what to say, but that was the perfect pickup for the perfect scenario.
Sadly, Clement, it doesn't matter at all. You already highlighted it. They got a kill bot, they got Herald, they got mid lane turret, and they got ZS's TP, and Nuguri still has his. So now, even now, they have TP advantage on the map. Sure, Nuguri does go down in the end. It's a bit of gold for the side of eStar. It actually doesn't equal out to any pressure for their side, though, as top wave was already pushing out towards eStar's side. Now we're going to see if eStar can find this play on the bot half of the map, but remember, Nuguri would have TP to answer this play if eStar committed.
I just love the way FPX has been doing this. eStars, to me, it feels like they keep on expecting FPX to back after taking objective. They were waiting for the back after Drake, they were waiting for the back after Herald, and then they realized, wait a minute, FPX just aren't backing. They're just taking everything. They don't care. They're strong enough.
It's pretty nice to see, but at the same time, it's also what's equaling out to a lot of these kills coming out from the side of eStar. This game definitely feels like FPX, like we highlighted earlier, understand their win conditions in the game. They've had the better plans. The execution hasn't always been there, but still, they are the ones sitting at a 4K gold lead in only 17 minutes.
In a very powerful position, and just taking a look at the Mythics, we are going to have the Gale Force here, so not the Kraken Slayer coming out for Kaisa. And I'm also really interested to seeing what Rel will be picking up. Does look like she has a bit of the item components for maybe the Shurelia's Battle Song, or for something else in that matter. What do you think this is going to be on the Mythic here?
I definitely expect it to be the Liandry's Anguish. We do see the Fiendish Codex coming out already, and FPX's comp, though not that tanky, you do have the likes of the Renekton and the Rel in the front line. Again, we don't all too often see the Moonstone Lilia here. I think it could have worked in this composition, but you would have obviously been putting all of your eggs into the rat basket, and let's be completely honest, Clement, I don't think that's eStar's win condition. I think for Hacker and Irma, you need to be the one stepping up and putting this game on your back.
Yeah, Irma definitely had a great start to this one, but now it's Doinby's turn to shine as he chases away Rat from the top lane. They're not going to be able to find a collapse onto this one. Good defend on their side. In the meantime, LWX is going to play PvE. He's going to be a jungle cosplay right now and take away everything from Hacker's jungle. It seems like there might be a 1v1 developing on the bot side, but Irma definitely saw that trinket go down. So are we still going to get the solo? That's the question. LWX uses his supercharge, is tagged down, has to cleanse right in front of Irma, and that should be the end to that play, unless Irma wants to find a little bit more action here. Doesn't look like it. He's going to back out, and unfortunately, we don't get the 1v1. I really wanted to see that one between the Gale Force and a fed Irma.
It's so strange that LWX, I mean, he knew that Zoe still had to be around, right? So he pretty much just said, cleanse cooldown, I don't care about it. Goes in, clears the wave, and leaves. But still, very non-consequential. It's going to be about this dragon coming up in 20 seconds. It's Doinby.
But Doinby is going to finish what LWX could not. He's going to go in for the 1v1. Does get the Sleepy Trouble landed onto him, and it's a big question, can Irma actually dodge out? He dodges away from the Jace Shock Blast. The spear is body blocked by Xiaoxi, and that's good teamwork coming out from eStars to keep their mid laner alive.
Still, it's going to lead to the dragon for the side of FPX. Did a lot of damage coming out onto Irma, so guarantees them that control over River and Dragon side. They also got some wards placed down, so when eStar come back out onto the map, they are going to know. I expect some recalls to come out after this. We're going to start transitioning our vision control towards the top half of the map with that vision spawning. And for eStar, it's still hard. You still are just funneling gold onto the side of Rat. You need to hope for picks to come out either through Sleepy Trouble Bubble or the Squirrel Seed from Lilia to catch out someone who's either overpushed or a straggler. You can try to put your resources into killing the likes of Nuggery, but that doesn't really give you back any map control. It just kind of gives you a bit more time, gives a bit more gold in the pocket. It's not really much of a win condition.
And I think this is something we've seen from eStars is even though they like to play hyper carries, they don't really play around their bottom side. So it usually takes Rat a very, very long time to get his items completed. And we've heard other pros in other regions talk about it. Like Doublelift has said that, hey, if you're playing the Xayah, she really needs a long time to get going. You're looking at that third item, Infinity Edge. It just doesn't seem like eStars are going to get the chance to have their champions at their correct power spikes.
It definitely feels like Xayah's come into the meta as more of a response to a lot of the champions coming in. Not only the bot lane matchups, which it certainly is, you know, been an answer to the Kai'Sa specifically, but you also have so many melee and dive-oriented compositions, which Xayah does so well with her self-peel, being able to kite back, obviously the Blade Caller and being able to lock people down. So I like your point that it takes time. It takes that 3 item, so it's not exactly strong on its own, but it's definitely an answer to a lot of meta compositions.
Yep, unfortunately for eStars, they are facing a lot of poke coming out from FPX. So, you know, a lot of times FPX probably doesn't even need to walk up to Rat to force him out of situations. eStars are just going to group mid, try and get some vision along this Baron, and FPX definitely look like they're hunting for an engage. Bow's Spear does go wide, but they are holding on to the brush. They have their full 5-man in this mid lane, and with Volibear on the bottom side, it looks like they're just willing to step into the river themselves. It's now eStar's turn to respond to this one. They're going to send a little bit of poke into the river. This is a very tense situation. If Bo can find a little bit more damage, you know, LWX, he could fly in at any moment right here. It seems like FPX are just happy with re-establishing their vision dominance on that river. They're going to go into the 1-3-1 pattern. And, you know, eStars, I fully expect them to back out after this one. Didn't really win the tug of war here, and now they have to deal with their sideways.
And that's the thing, right, that I like about FPX's comp in the mid game, is it can play out multiple lane assignments and formations. You are very strong in the 1-3-1. Both of their carries are stronger than both ZS and Irma at this point. They do amazingly when they are just 5-man mid at contesting that mid wave as we saw, because you're just going to have accelerated shock blasts and Italy spears in your face, which is going to allow them to walk into the river.
Xiaoxi runs into some trouble around the corner. In Chinese, we call that running into love around the corner. You never know when love will strike you, and sometimes it is lethal. Unfortunately for Xiaoxi, that's what he found. He found a big Renekton stalking him in the jungle, and FPX are going to head straight towards the Baron. It might seem like Nuguri might even stop the teleport here. Oh, he's just a while off. So eStars does find a 5v4 onto the top lane. This could be their chance to come back into the game. Lilia does find the hacker kill, but the Baron is still secured by FPX. A very close situation going down, and Doinby comes up, not able to survive this, and eStars does find a 1-for-3 trade. However, the Baron still goes over to FPX. Who do you favor in this one?
I definitely think FPX still got the better of this trade. It is very tragic that Nuguri wasn't able to cancel ZS's TP, so it didn't end up being a 4 versus 4 fight. ZS coming with a really massive ultimate allowed eStar to pick up a lot of those kills, but you oh god, LWX.
That damage.
Oh, that was great.
LWS with the thumbs up, and thank you for correcting me. It was a 4v4 because Chelsea was down. It still felt very, very close in that team fight, but like you said, FPX still likely coming out favored in that one, especially with the comeback kill onto Rat.
I think the good part is that you still have the Baron on one of your side laners, so Jace is still going to do incredibly well and be able to pressure that tower solo. And then you don't even need to run a 1-3-1 necessarily, since Doinby doesn't have it and LWX does. You can run a 1-4 setup, and then you have Baron buff in both lanes. Set up your other one to slow push, and you'll have constant pressure on the map. But we're going to go into the replay, and as we saw on the bottom side, that Jace wasn't able to cancel the Volibear TP. They are able to go in 4v4. Really nice play coming out from Rat, especially with the Blade
but
Caller.
we're going to have to jump straight into the action right here as LWX finds another kill in the enemy jungle. eStars are in full retreat with Chris a little bit low. Irma actually gets stunned here. Nuguri does find the Shock Blast, but not enough damage. LWX on the side. The Assassin 80 carry with another flashing emote. He's able to finish off the carries right here. And it just seems like FPX are not going to give eStars any breaks.
We saw Chelsea get picked off of our screen, and it's really hard to kind of fault him for trying to find vision, but sadly, when they can't contest side lanes, when they can't contest the 5v5 mid, Chelsea doesn't have any way of safely going into his jungle and getting down wards, and FPX are just doing a really good job at punishing that.
This seems like it's going to be a miracle if eStars can survive to the 30-minute mark. FPX are looking at a Dragon Soul Point as they take down this Ocean Drake from Bo. And at this point, I really don't see how eStars can claw themselves back into the game. Irma had a great start, but it didn't seem like it was enough.
Yep, sadly, Clement, there is no Zoe drop that, you just pick up and it executes all 5 members on the enemy team or just explodes the Nexus. Maybe that would have been the only way they could have won this game. At best now, you're
Don't give them ideas, okay? Certainty might be listening.
You're right. I mean, hey, as someone who plays Zoe, I welcome those changes, but, you know what's really surprising me was we had the damage pop up on the side of the screen for Doinby and LWX. Doinby actually was sitting at like 27.5% of his team's damage.
Oh, and sorry to cut you off, but there's going to be another fight. Rat once again caught off. Irma is running for his life, and the base is wide open at this point. Nuguri still entertaining the chase. Irma down to 300 HP. It doesn't look like he's going to be able to get off from this one.
How dare you call this a fight? This is just a massacre at this point, man. There's nothing eStar can do. Again, you're hoping that FPX just kind of run into one by one, or you all in one side, but are they gonna die?
That's a very aggressive flash coming in from Crisp. Hacker is going to get a little bit of damage and a potential 3-man sleep. He is going to force a cleanse out of LWX, but LWX still has plenty of ammunition to go right back into the team fight. We are going to see Bo coming in as well, so this is going to be a 4v3 in the mid lane. LWX goes into the back with Killer Instinct. He finds a kill onto Hacker, and LWX wants to close this game out right now. He's going in with the double kill. Rat has a nice flash away from Doinby. Can he survive is the question right here. He barely gets out with 1/3 of his HP, but the damage is done. FPX are going to break open the base. They find the inhibitor in the mid lane, and this is going to be a 2v4 defend coming out from eStars. What can they still hold on to their own base as Doinby wants to stay a while longer?
Nope, he's going to back off. Health bars were too low for the side of FPX. Definitely safer to get those recalls out. They probably have a ton of gold in their pockets, so gonna buy some of those items. We do just see a QSS coming out from LWX on this back. It's going to be getting back out onto the map, and I don't even realistically think you need to wait for the next straight to spawn. They probably could just go back into that 1-3-1 setup, rotate towards top side, and break that one down. But here's where you highlighted Crisp flashed in. It looked like they were trying to set up for a 3v3 dive. Hacker set up for a very easy Q into a nice sleep onto 3 men. Gragas, of course, with the displacement, they are able to pick off Nuggery. And then we're going to see FPX follow suit. Doinby is here, so they feel fine to go in. Really nice killer instinct coming out from LWX. They find that pick onto Lilia right away. He also does get the Gragas. And then Bo also finding that last one onto ZS.
Yeah, very one-sided affair, despite Nuggery going down first in that team fight. I'll be honest, I only have one question about this game. How did eStars collapse this quickly? Because it seemed okay for a while, and then it wasn't.
I feel like it's less to do about eStar collapsing and more about how FPX with those skirmishes were giving eStar false hope, right? Because FPX always had the tools to play out that early game and just choke out eStar from all the gold and neutral objectives. They just kept giving eStar the opportunities with the way they were playing out those skirmishes in that mid lane game.
So this actually could have been an even more dominant game coming from FPX, is what you're telling me, basically.
I think it should have been, Clement. I think it should have been.
Yeah, that Irma, I have to say, he has been the highlight on this young eStars team for me. He had such a great outplay early on. Doinby is going to find himself in a 1v5 while the rest of his team members take down the Baron. But he's going to make a very good fight here. Actually survives until the 3 members find the Baron. So he was definitely in that one for over 5 seconds, tanking on the entire team. And I think he's not going to feel any remorse for being caught out there.
Yeah, and I want to see if FPX either end this one 5v4 or, you know, you just wait out the 35 seconds and then Doinby's TP is up. You could even just go take Dragon in that time and then start your push once again and bring the TP in. But, ooh, ZS is actually TPing on the map.
Actually flashing forward here. We have to pay attention to the mid lane. Crisp is the one that's stunned up. He has to flash out as well. And Nuggery isn't even going to join this one. Nuggery's actually just staying at the enemy base. He believes in LWX. LWX goes in with the Gale Force, finds the kill, flashes out. Bo is going in as well. And this is another situation where eStars have the numbers advantage. Nuggery actually just waits in their own base to find the cutoff right here. What a 200 IQ play. 5 head poggers. They're going to find the kill onto Volibear and most likely just finish the game right here, right now. That was... I just love that play from Nuggery, knowing that he doesn't have to rotate, waiting for the enemy team to come into his waiting hands.
It was just nice to see, Clement, right? We did our opening segment talking about the Doinby meta. We get to see that here. He picks the Renekton in the mid lane once again. They have such a good understanding of how to utilize their map pressure. Sure, are there some mistakes in terms of execution, in terms of the mid lane gank and what we saw out of that skirmish on bot side? Sure. But after that, it was all about controlling the